Ladies and gentlemen, to the DocSports Weekend Baseball Show. I am Griffin Murphy. Besides me is Doug Upstone, and we are DocSports. Coming off of last week, Doug and myself gave out our hottest breakdowns in the American League East Division. I ended up going 2-1 on my place, cleaning up a 4-0 series victory prediction with the Philadelphia Phillies, cleaned up a same-day play with the Baltimore Orioles over Cincinnati. I did drop my best bet with the New York Mets against the Rays. Finishing up the weekend going 2-1 across my selections. Doug, how did your plays end up going out during last week's show rolling into today?
Exactly the same. I missed my best bet too, as the Colorado Rockies won on the road. Go figure that one.
But right, with 9 wins.
Yes. So 2-1. Hey, you know what? In life, if you go 2-1 in life, you're having a pretty good life. So I'm more than comfortable with that. So ready to dive in again here. We got the American League Central to talk about, and yep. I know one team in particular you're going to hone in on, and I'm very anxious to hear what you have to say about that.
Absolutely, Doug. You know it already. This week we're going to be covering the American League Central Division. Obviously, I'm born and raised Chicago guy, so we're going to talk about my Chicago White Sox. We're going to talk about the Minnesota Twins, the Detroit Tigers, Cleveland Guardians, and the Kansas City Royals. I'm going to lead off here right now with the Chicago White Sox. We've got the Cleveland Guardians rolling into Chicago to play the White Sox. Right now, Chicago's been playing much better baseball as of late, Doug. They're 4-2 in their last 6 games with a full season record of 10-28. So right now, they're kind of on an upside on the trend side of things. Chicago's toughest thing thus far has been strength of schedule. They just dealt with the red-hot Minnesota Twins team. That's probably been one of the hottest teams in baseball right now, going 15-2 in their last 17 games. Followed by that series, they had to deal with the St. Louis Cardinals. They ended up cleaning that series, taking 2 of 3 games. Now Chicago heads into game 4 here, or heads into this matchup with Cleveland after winning last night. Chicago's biggest issue, Doug, all season long has been their offensive run production, averaging just 2.9 runs per game. Having said that, they've scored 15 runs in their last 5 games, so they are up to par. Tonight, Garrett Crochet gets the start. He is very strong tossing left-handed guy, and he stands tall, so his fastball comes off a lot faster than it's actually predicted. He averages around 96 to 98 miles an hour. I bet you it comes off at around 100 miles an hour based on his length of arm from the left side. This guy's already got 40 innings of work with a dynamic 53 strikeouts, which is incredible, and only 9 walks on the season. Crochet has really stepped up his game, coming off a game where his last outing, he went 6 innings pitched against St. Louis, allowing just 3 hits and 1 run in 6 innings of work. For the Guardians, on the other hand, they've kind of cooled off. They're 5-5 in their last 10 games, and it's detrimental to this team right now without their star outfielder, Steven Kwan. This guy is their playmaker. He's their leadoff hitter. He's their speed on the bases. He's going to get you a couple gappers. He's a good slugger. And going deeper right now, an issue for Cleveland is, well, they have Carlos Carrasco on the bump tonight. And this guy, in my eyes, this guy's a liability. I believe we talked about him last week. He is one of those pitchers that I've seen on so many teams thus far throughout his career. And he's either completely dialed in or he's absolutely brutal. Well, right now, he's got a 5.67 ERA, and he's already acquired 17 walks. White Sox finally swinging the bat a little bit better than expected throughout the season. Crochet finally dialed in and locked in. Doug, I'm going to be honest with you, man. As much as I'd love to rip the Chicago White Sox team apart, I'm going to go with them here on the first 5 innings at a -150. I think they're going to be backed up by a very strong Garrett Crochet. And I could expect the White Sox to snag a couple runs early off in this game, maybe a 2-run bomb, something sneaky. But I really like Garrett Crochet on the bump, giving up no runs, maybe 1 run. And I think the Chicago White Sox could pick up 2 runs within the first 5 innings. So that is my free play, taking the Chicago White Sox. First 5 innings, -150. And then my game prop for you guys is going to be to smack the Yurfie. That is first inning, over or under 0.5 runs. I am expecting there to be 1 run to come across the plate in the first inning of this matchup, and that line is a +100. Doug, those are my 2 free plays going at with the Cleveland Guardians and Chicago White Sox. What do you got going on over there, brother?
Yeah, well, one of the things that, and I agree, they have played better, the White Sox. But one of the things that, and maybe you were taught the same way. My mother always said, if you don't have something nice to say about somebody, don't say anything at all. Okay, so from that standpoint, I'm going to stick to that with the Chicago White Sox,
Okay.
and I'm going to go with it. To what you said, they are playing better baseball. They've won 2 of their last 4 series. I don't know. It's just. They won, and they won last night too. So there's some interest that on Twitter I've seen, or X now. I've seen some people talking, as opposed to just bagging the White Sox the whole time. They're actually like, wow, they're actually winning a few games. So
Yep.
I think even White Sox fans are feeling a little bit better that way.
I am.
It's still, I mean, it's not a good team. It's a really poor organization. And I don't know if I said this before. I mean, when you have the owner who's, I believe, 90 years old or thereabouts, and all his commanders around him are basically his age. I mean, this is what you get. Okay. It's a bad situation. It's not going to turn around really anytime soon. They do have some younger players that are coming through the line, and they're just going to have to take their lumps. Okay. It's just the way that it goes. So from that standpoint, yeah, I mean, I like your prop. I mean, do I think the White Sox can win the series? Probably not. It probably looks like a split to me, just overall. But, hey, at least there's some improvement, which, anyway, the only way was up, and they're starting to at least do it.
That's the one thing, Doug. At least they are starting to trend upwards. I've been watching this team all season long, and it's gotten to the point where I've had to stop watching them for 5 days at a time because I get so pissed off at them. That's my team, born and raised. Always love them. So now that they are finally performing well, and I am really dialed in to that team because obviously they are my team, I love the play. I love where they're heading right now. Hopefully they can keep stacking some W's in the win column and keep it rolling here and get this first 5 inning for us here. But rolling right into the next game in the AL Central, we've got the Kansas City Royals rolling into Los Angeles to play the Angels. Kansas City, they've got Alec Marsh on the bump, and this guy's having a sensational start to the season. He's 3-0. He's got a dynamic 2.70 ERA and 17 strikeouts. The Royals, too, they're heating up right now. They've won 2 consecutive matchups, and they've produced 21 runs offensively in their last 3 games, which is outstanding baseball. For Los Angeles, they're struggling. They've been struggling all season long. They're 4-6 in their last 10 games, and they're coming off a loss last night to Kansas City after getting absolutely rolled. Los Angeles, though, hitting .238 as a team against right-handed pitching. Alex Marsh tossed from the right side. They're 4-2 at home and have absolutely zero momentum this game. But there's an if factor here. Griffin Canning is getting the start tonight. Canning's 1-4 on the season with a very high 6.69 ERA. Despite this, the Royals, they're hitting just 191 against Griffin Canning all time in his career. Canning does hold also a 2-1 record against with the Angels against the Royals. Canning is now coming off his best outing of the season, going 6 innings pitched against Cleveland, who's got a very strong offense, allowing just 4 hits and 2 runs. In my eyes right now, Doug, this looks like a trap bet to me. I really like the Angels here. All angles are pointing at the Royals in this matchup, but I believe Canning's going to dominate in tonight's matchup, especially Los Angeles is 11-12 during night games this season and hitting a healthy .251 batting average as a team. It's a trap bet because if you looked at this from any other angle, everything points in the Royals' favor. And right now, the Royals are just laying -110 in this game. Doug, give me the Angels in this one at -105 fair value. And I've also got a player prop pick on strikeouts with Griffin Canning. My prop bet is going to be take Griffin Canning over 4.5 strikeouts at a -135. As I just explained, his dominance against the Royals with them just hitting 191 against him as a team, and Canning really just lighting it up. You can kind of see him starting to trend upwards and coming off his best outing of the season. Give me Canning over 4.5 strikeouts, Doug. What's your take on the next game, bro?
Yeah, on this one, with Kansas City, I actually really like what they've done so far. I mean, you look at last year, they were 56-106. So This team, I mean, they started out great. Do I think they're a 500 team just overall? Well, I'm not exactly sure. And to your point is there's some things going on here that if you dig a little deeper into the numbers, they're 12th in scoring. But if you look at any of the hitting metrics, and there's a lot of different ones, 70% of those, they are 15th or lower. So what does that mean? It means that they are overachieving based on the number either of hits that they have, okay,
like
and
that.
everything else. So from that standpoint, I just don't think it's going to be easy to maintain for them throughout the course of the year. The thing, though, that we'll find out if it holds up, whether it be tonight or as the season holds along, is that their starting pitching has been very good, and their bullpen, and by the way, it's number 4 in ERA, the starting pitching, and if their bullpen improves, which it certainly could, they could still be a 500 team, I'd say, on the season. But as far as against the Angels, I actually like the Angels as a fan. I mean, other than the Cubs, I like the Angels, but. Again, I'm going to go back to ownership on this one. There's just no clue as to what's going on with this team. So I just don't know that I can trust them. Sure, individual games, yes. But in terms of overall, I have a hard time liking this team, even kind of as a fan.
I hear you. Rolling into our next game, we've got the Minnesota Twins rolling into Toronto to play the Blue Jays. Now, let's talk about this one. Minnesota, they're playing as good baseball as anybody in the league right now. As I mentioned earlier, 15-2 in their last 17 games, which is absolutely incredible. They're 9th in baseball across offensive runs per game. They're 11-7 during night games this season and hitting a very potent 287 against left-handed pitching this season. Last night, they managed to absolutely annihilate Logan Gilbert. This guy is an absolute stud, one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. They hammered him. I want to say they scored 9 runs in 3 innings off this guy with an 11-run final, 11-1 run final over Seattle last night. Playing as good baseball as it gets. And today, you've got Joe Ryan getting the start, their ace. He's already got 46 strikeouts on the season with a very nice 3.54 ERA. Toronto, on the other hand, they're just 4-6 in their last 10 games, and they just can't seem to pull it out, man. They can't put it together. They have all the star power to do so, but the chemistry just isn't there. Kachuki is going to get the start tonight. He's got a nice 3.38 ERA for Toronto right now. But against Minnesota all-time in 5 games, he's got 26 strikeouts and 7 walks. Kachuki is coming off an outing where he went 6 innings in Washington, allowing 6 hits and just 1 run. But I like Minnesota here. I can't jump in front of Kachuki in this matchup. So my play going in this is we've got a very good pitching matchup. We've got a red-hot Minnesota team, but I don't want to jump on board with them. I really love the under in this game at 7.5 runs, Doug. And that line is currently at a -120. Once again, the under at 7.5, -120. And my prop play coming at you guys right now is going to be the Murphy. No runs first inning at a -135. Doug, what's your take on this one, my man?
Yeah, well, Minnesota. Who is Minnesota, right? Okay, they started the season 7-13. Okay,
couldn't hit,
and they looked bad. Now, then one thing that happened, and they took advantage of it. They ran into a scheduling situation that they could take advantage of. And we talked about the Chicago White Sox. I mean, honestly, and I think you would agree, that's how things turned around for them. They played the White Sox, it was either 6 or 7 times, and they just took care of business against them. And they went on a 12-game winning streak. Now, if you look at the other aspect of what they've been doing, scheduling does play a big part into their success because they are 18-7 as favorites this year, but just 4-8 as underdogs. So in winning, 15 of their last 17, they've averaged a sensational 6.5 runs per game. They're an above average team in terms of home runs. They come in at number 11. And, the other big key, and this is, I think, an important thing to remember about Minnesota, is they rank 3rd in extra base hits. So why does that matter? Well, in this case, with baseball in the last several years, launch angles have been such an important thing. But you're starting to see now, starting to dial down a little bit on the launch angles aspect of it. And that's what the Twins are doing. So if you're hitting the ball either down the line or in the gaps to have extra base hits, well, that just tells you that there's just swinging where the ball is pitched, more discipline. Now, as far as Toronto, playing Toronto, we talked about them last week. Boy, you just an underachieving team, and I just don't think it's a particularly good team.
Yeah.
These players ended up being overrated. The Twins, though, here's their deal. We're going to find out in the next month how good the Twins are. Okay, ready for this? So besides playing at Toronto, they're also going to go to Cleveland and Washington. Okay, Washington's better than expected. They'll have a home and home with the Yankees, and then they'll have home series against Cleveland, Texas, and Kansas City. So we'll find out, okay, exactly where Minnesota is a month from now in terms of who they truly are. I like the team. I just don't know if they have enough pitching. The hitting has certainly come around. It's not as good as what, they're hitting right now, but it's certainly definitely above average. So that's kind of the story, I think, on the Twins. We'll find out what happens. But I do like your prop pick, though. I think there's some good value in that.
Awesome. Let's roll right in, Doug, to our series predictions. I'm going to jump right into this one, and this one is pretty clean cut for me. I mean, the line, the value is there, and we've got the New York Yankees playing the Tampa Bay Rays, and I'm going to give a series prediction on this. The Yankees to win the series is minus 130. So Verdugo's back in the lineup. Judge is hitting bombs. Stanton is absolutely rolling. This team is hitting the ball just about as well as any team in all of MLB right now. They have now won 3 of their last 4 series in particular. Getting them at a minus 130 line, in my eyes, is an extremely fair value play. Yes, we can take the fact that Tampa Bay has been playing very good baseball as of late, but do they have that consistency, that pitching staff, that star power to really sustain this dynamic New York Yankees offense? I just don't think so, Doug. So my series prediction right here is going to be taking the New York Yankees minus 130 to win the series. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like that. Tampa Bay, like we talked about last week, there's just something missing. Okay, now they're playing, like as you mentioned, they're playing a little bit better, but they took a series against the White Sox. I keep bringing this up against you, but I mean the facts are the facts.
Right.
So but anyways, no, I like the general thought there. With the Yankees, the only thing I'm concerned with now, Judge starting to hit, so that helps. I mean, what was it, 2 weeks or I think 10 days ago, he was batting 170. I happened to watch a little bit of the game yesterday, and his average was up to 230, so that's a positive. And and Soto is on literally after 38 games, one of the best 38 games anybody's ever had, to start a season. So they just got to get the rest of the lineup cranked up here a little bit. And I think if they do, they should beat Tampa Bay. But, it's always – Yankees have always had some problems. Not every series, but they always haven't played great in Florida, especially on the left coast there. I should say what is it? Yeah, the left coast of Florida.
Down south. Yeah.
Yeah. So from that standpoint, I'm just a little trepidation there, but generally speaking, I do like your pick. So I'm going to run over to the Philadelphia. I'm going to stay in Florida, as a matter of fact, with Philadelphia and Miami. Now Philly is a big favorite here, and you know what? And it looks like they should be in this NL East skirmish. Philadelphia, best team in baseball in terms of record as of this morning. Miami, one of the worst. Marlins, okay. The little backstory here. Marlins, the last couple of years, had hired a general manager who was a woman, okay, and she was in charge of the team. And as you know, last year they got into the wild card, okay. They overachieved because if you looked at their run differential, okay, it was under 5, it was below, it was in the red. Let's put it that way. And so that was just fortunate they got it, but they did get in, okay. So they improved. So what did they do? Instead of rewarding her, the owner hired somebody to slot above her, okay, in terms of the hierarchy of the front office. Well, you know what she said? I'm out of here, okay? So she quit. Well, I'm not saying it's a direct reflection of their season to date, but it's not a surprise in the context as that team overachieved last year. And look at where we are this year. Right now, Marlins, 25th in batting average, 26th in home runs, and dead last in walks taken. Pitching-wise, 29th in runs allowed, 25th in home runs, and 28th in walks allowed. Now, you got the Phillies. Woo! The Phillies. Boy, are they playing.
Man.
I mean, number 6, Griffin in runs scored, 5th in homers, top 7 in strikeouts, and fewest walks allowed. The Philly offense is in the top 6 in almost every important category. So in this one, their expected starters are going to be Friday night, Ranger Suarez, Taijuan Walker, and Zach Wheeler on Sunday. I think the best fish pitcher coming into the series is the one on Saturday, undecided. Okay, so from that standpoint, You know what? Minus 200 is a lot of money. And in baseball, we always know that anything can happen literally any day and in any series. But I would just be really surprised if the Phillies don't take the series and likely sweep Miami in this one.
I like it, Doug. I like it, Doug. We're going to jump right into our best bets, and then we're going to let you guys know what we have going on over at the website. And I'll take it right here, Doug. I'm going to roll in with my best bet, and that is going to be with the Los Angeles Angels today, taking game 1. I mentioned, obviously, I gave my breakdown. Alex Marsh is on the bump for Kansas City. He's having an outstanding season, although this guy has not done this yet thus far in his career. He is due for a breakout game on the downside of things. Then you roll over Griffin Canning. He's already lit up this Kansas City Royals team and do historical data, and they're hitting 191 against him as a team. Going into tonight's matchup, as I mentioned, all the angles are at the Royals' favor, and I'm fading the public on this one, Doug. My best bet going at you right now is going to be taking the Los Angeles Angels tonight at a minus 105. Doug, what's your best bet?
Well, I admire your courage on that one, Griffin, and good luck to you, my man.
Thank you, brother.
I'm going to go down the coast to up the coast to San Francisco, where Cincinnati is going to be playing. Both these teams come into this series really laboring, but we actually got a pretty good starting pitching matchup. Cincinnati is on an 8-game slide, and they cannot hit. In fact, during this 8-game losing streak, they're averaging an abysmal 2.0 runs per game. At least, though, they're going to have Andrew Abbott, who has a 3.32 ERA, which is really solid, but he's only 1-4. So that just tells you how they have not been hitting. San Francisco, on the other hand, comes in better, but not much. 3-7 in their last 10 games, and they too have offensive woes, Griffin. They just got done playing at Coors Field. Well, 2 of the games they scored 5 and 7 runs. Okay, that's not really a big surprise at Coors Field. But in their other games of the last 14 they have played, only one other time have they scored more than 3 runs. So 11 out of 13 games, they have scored 3 or less runs in this one.
Brutal.
Now they're going to have Logan Webb on the mound. He has had 2 bad outings, but he's still 3-3 with a 3.50 ERA. So I still think he's an excellent pitcher. Just has run into some, just didn't have it the last couple of days. In this one, I'm going to play against National League underdogs with a money line of plus 100 or more, like the Cincinnati Reds, who are starting a pitcher who gives up 1 or more home runs a start, with a team on base percentage below 300 on the season. Clubs like the Reds in this exact situation since 2020, Griffin, 15-55. Give me San Francisco minus 140 on the money line.
I love it, man. I love it, man. There you guys have it. Let's roll on over to the website. I'll let you guys know what I have going on, and then Doug will let you guys know what he has rolling on. For me right now, baseball, we're kind of tearing it up right now. 21-12 run in my last 33 plays. Today, I have a very heavy volume day. I have a 4-pack, 11 units in total, all side plays in MLB. I have a game prop and player prop. When it comes to those, I am 13-6 on my Nerfy plays, on plays rated 6.0 or higher. And then in soccer tonight, or today, I must say, Eastern time, 2:30 p.m. start. I have a 7-unit best bet, as I mentioned, 2:30 p.m. start time. And I am 11-5 on my soccer plays rated 6.0 or higher. That is what I have going on over at the site. And you can get those plays for free. Just head on over to the website and go create a free account. As soon as you create that free account, you are automatically gifted a free $60 in credit. You can use that free $60 on my picks, Doug's picks, or any other of the 10 handicappers on the DocSports website of your choosing. Best of all, that comes with our absolute guarantee. Doug, what do you have going on over at the website, my man?
Well, today in Major League Baseball, I have a 6-unit best bet ready to roll. I've hit 7 of my last 10 in Major League Baseball, so looking to make it 8 out of 10 and actually trying to do even better, because included with that 6-unit play, you're going to get another one for just $30. Okay, so 2 plays for $30 at DocSports. In the NHL, I have a strong play, a team in a 75% winning situation, and I've hit 6 of my last 8 in the NHL. And Griffin mentioned props. Well, I got some props too. too. I usually just give out like one prop. Okay. I try to isolate one and go with that. But today I found two that I really like. So you can get two for $30. And I am on a run of 66.6% on recently. And going back to December, I'm a bedrock solid 60% on all props in all sports. So things are really going well with that, Griffin. So, hey, once again, it's been fun, right, my man?
Oh, always a blast, Doug. Always a blast, man. Just want to appreciate everybody for tuning in. Doug, as mentioned, always a pleasure chopping up some baseball with you. Can't wait to see you next week, man. Go cash some tickets. I am Griffin Murphy. This is Doug Upstone. Thank you guys for tuning into the DocSports Weekend Baseball Show. We will see you guys next week. Take care.